Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be answering the question time questions from the December video. So I realized I uploaded this a little bit late. I promised a little earlier, so sorry about that. With that being said, let's jump right into the questions. So we have Dio asking, I don't know if it's been gone over before and they're still fairly new to my channel, and sorry for the long confusing question, if it makes any sense. For the title challenges Space/Fairy and other challenges like the one currently running as I'm posting this question, how do you beat those challenges without needing the most common subs assist units? Well, having the most common subs assist units makes it easier. My Royal Oak team was lacking several cards that would have made it much easier. Like, I feel like I would have gotten a clear much sooner if you have the cards. It just provides consistency. Like, the less ideal your team, the more you're fishing for that perfect ideal run because more things can go wrong. And Dio says they lack almost everything to beat it and they feel like they're wasting a lot of stamina trying, even missing almost all the event collab units, so it feels impossible to beat it. Are these challenges meant mainly for endgame players who spend a lot of time in game and collect lots of units, or is it possible for any time of the game aside from early game, of course? Well, Space Time was definitely meant for end game players because it was the hardest, it's still the hardest dungeon currently available in the game, and it's meant to be challenging. Like, there are players who have played for thousands of days, and if the content isn't challenging, they don't necessarily stick around. So not everything can be catered to like mid-range or especially beginner-based players. They need to have something that's incredibly hard, and obviously it's getting much more restrictive, but that's partially why you have to keep saving stones and roll in more valuable events. Noob says 598. Fantastic. Joshua says 1. Why are you so handsome? Maybe because I'm half Asian. Maybe that's what gave me an edge. I don't know. 2. Apart from the Dresden Files, what other collabs would I like to see in PAD? Personally, I'd love to have Transformers and Optimus Prime. I feel like the Dune universe is popular enough right now to actually possibly make a relevant collab because the movie came out. It was, I think, well received. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was quite entertaining and quite true to the book. So maybe that would be a franchise that would be quite interesting because there are plenty of characters. There is a tremendous amount of lore and backstory, so you definitely have lots to pull from. For Raul Bastida says, would I have ever considered a cooking stream or video? I've mentioned in the past how I like to cook, so I was curious if that's something that interested you. Well, it is interesting, and I've tried doing like some cooking streams in the past, but the biggest issue is my computer is here, and it's not a laptop, it's a desktop, and my kitchen is, well, way over there. So it makes it challenging to actually, like, bring all my streaming equipment there. Like, it's a lot of effort. It takes quite a bit of time to move everything there and back because I had to unplug, rehook, get extension cables, etc. So it just didn't feel that worthwhile, and I don't feel like the interest is that high. Of course, I could be wrong about that. Nick Hashnut says, what are some of my favorite lead monsters to run on my team, even if they aren't meta? Favorite things to run on my team. Well, I think it's better to like just describe the types of teams and playstyles I've enjoyed. I seem to like dark and water-based teams. I think because water is blue and my favorite color is blue, and dark, it just feels like satisfying matching rows. I guess blue has also come row-based with Royal Oak, but like I found the row playstyle interesting because like you still have to combo most of the board, but at the same time you're getting to blob something and it makes a satisfying noise. It maybe looks aesthetically pleasing, so I enjoy that sort of stuff. So in terms of like, I'm not sure what would be like off meta stuff. Like, I just enjoy like that play style, or like just finding ways to make teams work about having every single card available. Bierce Wow says, hi Mantastic, sorry if I've already been asked this, but there's somewhat of a whale in this game with an ample amount of PSI and a fairly well developed monster box. Have a functioning not Seawolf Mojito UG team. How do you usually go about rolling machines collabs in terms of spending? What packs do I get? Are they guaranteed packs or the normal ones? I can't, oh wait, there's read more, whoops, click. Or what do you think of the 100 Magic Stone bundles as of recent? Well, I only IAP if someone is generous and donates or gifts it to me because I don't have the disposable income to buy really anything. I don't have enough money to pay for medication sometimes. So, like, money is tight. So, like, if I were to buy something, it's from a gift from someone. But the things that I value the most tend to be, like, cards that have the longest shelf life. And cards that have the longest shelf life, if I'm buying a direct card, like an Orb Skin, for instance, those cards are those that have great weapon assists, because weapon assists tend to age the slowest, or then subs, then leaders. Leaders tend to get power crept the fastest. For subs, a sub that lasts longer are clerics. And a good example of this is Gung Ho Belial. Gung Ho Belial is an amazing cleric, and she's going to stay relevant for quite a long period of time because she's so flexible. In terms of like valuable orb skins, that is probably one of the more well worth your monies in terms of how much usage you'll get. And then, let's say for some reason you never ever find yourself using them as a cleric ever again for whatever reason. Well, they have another great weapon. They have a strong dark form, which is great for farming, and their weapon assist is actually quite strong as a full cleric active with some okay awakenings. But point of the matter is, like, I try and, if I were to buy something, I'd buy something of high value. Buying buying just regular normal Magic Stone packs is expensive. Like, I did the breakdown. It's almost $1 per stone in Canada as well. Like, so that 100 Magic Stone bundle is probably close to $100 Canadian. And that's a tremendous amount of money, basically. So I don't think those are as worthwhile. Like, they tend to make, like, those special limited time bundles a little bit better value. In the past, I have like done like price comparison of like Pad Pass and like the packs, and like I do subscribe to the Pad Pass on one account because in terms of raw value, it gives the most for like the $12-ish a month I pay. So like I find that is the best value, but again, it all comes down to like how much disposable income you have and what are you comfortable spending on. But the special limited time stuff tends to be better than like just the vanilla 85 Magic Stone pack. Duke Nuke says, how do I feel about the more extreme parts of American politics? Trumpism, QAnon, and the January 6th insurrection. Does it all seem completely nuts to me or to our northern neighbor, or do you find it entertaining? I know virtually nothing about this. Like, I don't follow politics, like Canadian nor American. I don't use social media really at all. Like, I don't keep up with the news. Like, anything truly important that's usually COVID related, someone's gonna tell me, like in my immediate circle, like my mom or like Pancake, for instance, will tell me. So like, I don't follow that stuff because to a certain extent, I have no way to control it. And I find it can get depressing or just mind-boggling. So I just try not to look at those things. Ichiban Engineering says, Submarines question, is it fair to assume they'll get a weapon assist? They have 3 copies of each in one Daytona. They've watched my videos on the kitty farming team, and they traded for 4 kitties. Mostly playing solo, so I think it's worth it for me. Had a bunch of 6 Stars Godfest exclusive anyways they had no use for. Keep up with the great content. Well, I'm glad you have a wonderful TA3 farming team. For the Submarines, I would be truly, truly surprised if they didn't give weapon assists. It's been the trend for 7-Star Godfest exclusives to receive weapon assists, so I don't see why they wouldn't in the future. So I would honestly just hold on to them. I wouldn't even use them as trade fodder just yet because you don't have the full picture, because who knows, maybe it's going to be something magical and wonderful. Thomas Walker says, I mentioned before that I love painting miniatures. They build Gundam models for a hobby, so here's their question. Have I considered doing some videos about my painting skills? Maybe I could, but part of the issue is a lot of my equipment is old. I think my iPad mini that I'm playing on is starting to fail because I'm constantly losing like connectivity to the screen, and my phone is like 5-6 years old. It's a hand-me-down from my mom. So the big issue is I need to have a camera elevated above myself. I have a ring light actually here, and it has a spot to like put like a phone that could like camera capture. So like I feel like if I were miniature painting, like I have a magnifying lens here as well, but like I'd be like somewhere painting in the middle, that camera would be above looking down, and I feel like that would be how I would try to do it. Like I am currently painting Black Rose Wars miniatures. Like this is not done yet, but will it ever focus? Will you ever focus? No, it's not focusing. Oh, there it is. No, gosh darn. He likes to focus on my hair, but not on the actual mini here. Okay, I have something a little bigger here. This will help, right? Yeah, there we go. It's almost done, this guy. But yeah, I need better equipment to like capture the image. Maybe perhaps I can try to get something. I feel like I need Pancake because her phone is modern and it could actually have a good camera, because my current phone is just, it's so old. It does nothing but make phone calls. I actually don't do anything on my phone aside from phone calling, I think, now at this point. So, like, I feel like I would need to have a better setup to do so. But, like, I do everything on this desk anyways, which I guess is nice. Unlike, say, the cooking in the kitchen, which is farther away. Most of the stuff is here. I just need to get that camera to put up there somehow. Or maybe if I can tape my iPad up there. I think the camera works well. Maybe I can try and figure out, because I do enjoy miniature painting, and it's quite a soothing hobby, and I've got lots of stuff to paint. Jonathan Land says, hello, sir. Hope all is well with me and my family. Here's their question. They use Ilmina and Puzzle Dragon X mostly to help them team build. When it comes to active skills, is there any way to know of on those sites or another site to look up negative effects. We know that negative effects can be an easier route because it decreases cooldown while also helping debuffs enemies on you. Specifically interested in negative RCB and negative movement time. I'm not 100% sure how you could filter for negative aspects because I feel like their filter system puts any kind of buff, whether it's like a negative buff or a positive buff, under the buff category. So I'm not 100% sure as to how you could filter it. I feel like maybe you're wanting those negative aspects to fish for much lower cooldowns. Is that perhaps the answer? Maybe. X Random Donald says, hey Mantastic, what are my thoughts on a game-themed wedding, like a pad-themed wedding? Too corny or regular is the best? I'm not quite sure what you mean by a wedding theme. Like, we already have the wedding collab, which I guess is a way for you to acquire some of your favorite cards in festive or like aesthetically pleasing outfits, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by like a wedding theme, like overall like wedding events. I think that kind of happens during the wedding collab though. AJ Asensio says, just kind of curious, if I had to create an endgame dungeon, what mechanics would you include and what kind of rewards would you like to see from new endgame content? I feel like the current endgame content is doing a good job of giving varied rewards because, like, if you look at Sure 1, great rank experience, nice fat 6-slot latent, extra latent slots, good stuff all around. And also one of those big dragons for monster experience. So pretty good stuff there. For Shura 2, you get tons of plus points. And I guess Tamadras, which is probably not as important, but tons of plus points. Shura 3 gives tons of money, super snow globes. So like, just Shura Realms itself gives nice variety of rewards. And then like the 2 new MD dungeons, or Dimension of the Mystics, they have, well, you get a variety of like high-end evolution materials. You can get those special gems for evolving. Like, I think they do a good job in terms of giving varied rewards. Like, there's plenty of stuff that is worth playing at this point in time because there's such varied and lucrative drops. So I don't think I would necessarily need to change how their drop stuff is going. But at the same time, I think the only big thing I would try and do is just have information in dungeon. Like, the dungeons now are quite varied in terms of the approaches you need to do. Like, yes, even like, say, like a Royo Oak team, who I'm using more often now, like, can potentially tackle different dungeons. You need multiple different mechanics and solutions for them. Like, for instance, Blue Albrecht is great in every dungeon, except for MD2, where Goldfish Girl tends to be superior because you only need unmatchable. So I'm not quite sure what I would do in that aspect. And then for the top 3 in ranking, it was actually my friend who was playing on my account when he came over, because we were, like, I was making lunch and he had downtime because he already finished tidying up the board game table. So, like, it's just part of, like, our process. And he just, like, I want to touch your pad. I'm like, go for it. And he skyfalled. Slide Gobify says, is pad getting too hard? Pad is getting definitely harder and more restrictive potentially. I am just fortunate in the sense that I have a old monster box, which means I have lots of cards. I have quite a bit of things to utilize. So I have more options compared to like a newer based player. So like, I think it's definitely getting harder, but I guess what's the hardest part is just still having no dungeon information built into the game. So you have no idea what's going to happen. And then Ricky F. Can't say says, do you think ad gacha is a bit underwhelming? Like, free stuff is nice and all, but sometimes you get the same killer into Madra over and over again, so it's kind of boring and taxing when watching the ads. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's a free aspect. They're not going to give particularly good stuff. And, like, a pity system, like you mentioned, like, it's not necessary. They don't have a pity system for the rare egg machine. Why would they have a pity system for, like, a free video egg machine? Like, I know it's supposed to be underwhelming, but it costs nothing. Sometimes I watch ads when I'm doing something else, and I don't even look at the screen. So, I don't know. Like, it's nice that it's there. It does give Gung Ho some revenue, which in turn helps keep the server doing well. And then finally, Duke Nuke asks, already asked a question, and perhaps you've already answered recordings, but on the off chance I haven't, asked, what do I spend your monster points on? They're almost at max and need to accept the MP mail before it expires. No idea what's worth spending on. Also, it's weird to have so many MP, don't you think? Remember when it was painfully slow to accumulate them? Remember it took so long to save up for Yomi Dragon? Well, a Mage is a fantastic purchase, I think, in all honesty. Like, I purchased a Mage on my own account, and it was tremendously helpful, especially if you're playing through Mystic Dimensions 1. It gives you that 100% damage reduction shield and a nice RCV and movement time buff and skill boost and 3 team HPs. It's never a bad card to have on a team. So I feel that would be a good place to dump 5 million of your monster points, since you said you're at such a high amount. So perhaps think about you picking up a Mage. So, with that being said, that answers all the questions for the December series. I am so happy that this is continuing. I think it's kind of quite enjoyable to like just hear your thoughts and opinions and also give ideas of possible things I could do. Maybe I could try and figure out a way to get miniature painting done because it is something I do enjoy, but I'll have to figure out a way to get better cameras because my camera quality is not necessarily the best, and I think cameras are possibly one of the most important aspects for, miniature painting. Regardless of all that, hopefully you all have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the very best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.